worst thing you liked about me?
I thought that you were quite brilliantly broken.
You feel like my person.
You feel like my person.
What's the worst thing you've ever done?
I saw things. I shouldn't have seen any of it.
Shelly! Shelly! Please don't do this!
When someone dies, a crow carries their soul to the land of the dead. But sometimes something so bad happens that the soul cannot rest. Until you put the wrong things right. You were given the power of a god. But you're running out of time to save her.
I'm gonna kill them. Every single one of them.
And killed you.
Yeah, you did.
We have a problem. He came for us.
First impulse. Anger. It's not anger. It's love.
Look at what you've become. You know that love promises only pain. You have no idea what hell awaits you. No, I do.
How many people have you loved?
I'll never be alone.
Boom, there you go. That was the trailer for Lionsgate, The Crow, in theaters now. Go check it out because this is The Crow for this generation. If you've seen the ads as of this recording, I got a pull quote putting into one of the promotional materials. Thank you, Anthony. I'm Kuya P. This Nerds Rule the World. And joining me to talk all things The Crow is my pal from the movie review, screen comment, film threat, Mr. Anthony Francis. How are you, sir?
Glad to be back. Glad to talk positive about this one.
Yeah, man. And you know, let's set the record straight out the top before we get into it. I think we all know, you know, you should see things before you say anything, but you know, haters are gonna hate. So I just want to preface, you know, and I think we should all know this, and educated adult people should know this. What you love is always going to be there. You know, there's the comics, there's the film, there was the subsequent films. Everything always gets done again and again and again. And there's, you know, for a new generation. So just stop. Haters are always going to hate. It's whether or not you want to listen to the noise is up to you.
Well said.
You choose to listen to the noise. That's up to you. But, you know, don't let that cloud your judgment. Just go in things fresh. And that's kind of what I did. The 94 Brandon Lee Crow will always be there. To me, it isn't. I understand why it's a cult classic. It's an okay film. There's ups and downs to it, much like this new film has its up and downs, which we'll get into. But it's, you know, but there's everything for everyone else. We wouldn't have had Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man if we didn't live through Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, if we didn't live through
Reverse.
Not Toby.
Back that up.
What's our current Tom Holland? We have Tom Holland Spider-Man. We would
I
have
knew
Tom
it was-
Holland Spider-Man if we didn't have
Yeah.
Anthony Garfield. If we didn't have Tom McGuire. I'm messing up my McGuires now. Toby. And or Nicholas Hammond. If you go back to Electric Company.
I was just about to say that.
So Anthony, you and I are old geeks. We know.
CBS, 7 p.m. whatever night that was.
Hello. So stop with the hate. Haters are always going to hate, but it's up to you whether or not you want to listen to that noise. So just want to put that in the atmosphere, but we'll do what we do now. And because again, you know, just there's just too much negativity. We're all about positivity, even though we will critique where we see fit. So, and we'll get into that.
We don't attack. We critique,
Yes.
we don't attack.
Exactly. Well said, my brother. This is why I love Anthony Francis, y'all. Go check out Screen Comment, Film Threat Movie Review, especially his review. Let me also put that out there. My man actually just dropped, as of this recording, his review on his site. Go read it. Well said.
moviereview.com.
There you go. I agree with it wholeheartedly. But you're at the NRW, Nerds Rule the World. We're going to do our thing where we're just chatting it up because we're a bunch of nerds. So as we do, I give a little bit about the film, storyline-wise, a little bit about some of the amazing cast and crew that put this together. I'm going to highlight a few, but I always say it takes a village to create a work of art. So shout out to everybody down the line, even though we highlight a few, you know, props and respect to everybody because it takes a village to make a product. So The Crow, it's about an hour and 51 minutes long. It's rated R. It's directed by Rupert Sanders, who you know from I had it at the tip of my tongue earlier. Let me scroll real quick. Snow White and the Huntsman, Ghost in the Shell. He also worked on The Foundation on Apple TV, which is pretty damn good. I have to say, he has some pretty good visuals, if I might say so myself. I've enjoyed his visuals. He's on the directing chores, and on the writing chores, we have, obviously, they've got to give credit to the creator of The Crow. If you're a fan of the comics like I am, James O'Barr gets the credit along with Zach Balin and William Joseph Schneider. The star of this, our new Crow playing Eric Draven, is Bill Skarsgård, and our new Shelly is FKA Twigs, and Danny Huston, who I've had the pleasure of working with on the set of John Adams and have had conversations with him. Legendary actor, is our villain in this. Although I think Anthony and I have some feelings on his villain because it's kind of, if there's a negative critique, it's kind of like a cookie cutter villain in there, but he does what he does immensely, as always in this. So those are your cast, your crew. Eric Draven, if you're familiar with the comics, you know, kind of a tragic hero based on a little bit on James O'Barr's life when he was in the military. If you know the history of the Crow and where the story came from, he had a relationship. Things kind of didn't work itself out. Kind of took that as the basis for this new concept when he got into comic books. And what we have here is two tragic people, you know, that find themselves together. Eric Draven had, we see it, the film opens with kind of an earlier version of Eric and how he kind of gets like this scar as he's walking around his trailer. So he comes from I guess a menial family, didn't really have a lot of money. And then I think things kind of just fall down the line where he finds himself later on in prison, is I think where we were first introduced to him, not in prison, excuse me, a rehabilitation center. You know, life just was kind of tragic. I think he had to like take care of things because of just his upbringing led him to being there. This is also where we meet Shelly and where they'll both meet in the rehabilitation center. But we get a little bit of Shelly before she heads in there. She's also got it rough. She's running with the wrong crowd, and running with this crowd, she finds out that they're doing some negative things that she doesn't want to be involved in. She tries to hide out, but she eventually, as a way to hide out, gets sent to this rehabilitation center. And that's how our two characters meet, and they fall in love, and we can all relate to that. And again, I think that's what's so great about the Crow films, or just the Crow story, is that story of love and loss, and just tragic upbringings that bind us together. So that occurs when they're at the center. They break free of that because these bad guys that Shelly was running away from kind of come back into the picture. And we then see the love story a little bit more to the effect, because they couldn't exactly hook up at the rehabilitation center, if you will. So we see them living, we see this love mature, and then we also kind of just see how deep this goes, and also Shelly's past coming to them, and it meets the end. If you're familiar with the Crow, it meets a tragic end for both of them, and this isn't into spoilers because this is kind of like we all know the origin of the Crow. If you're a Crow fan, they both get killed, and one makes a deal. Eric Draven makes a deal to try and get revenge, to seek revenge on the killers, and to possibly, if sacrifice himself to allow one of them to come back. And he obviously loves Shelly so much, he wants to get Shelly back to the life of the living. That then leads into just a tragic story, and we learn and we get a lot deeper of a story in this Crow universe that I haven't seen on film. To me, the Brandon Lee film again was a cult classic. The others, not so good. But this, out of all the Crow films, really delivers on story. That's what really got me with this one. So as a credit to Rupert Sanders, a credit to James O'Barr and his material, and the screenplay adapters of this. And also Bill Skarsgård. If you see my interviews right now on the channel, I had a chance to have Bill Skarsgård and FKA Twigs respond to some questions, and so that interview is up there along with the stunt coordinator, and we'll give props to the stunt team in a second. Adam Horton, who did some amazing stunt work on this film. They chimed in because they wanted to create a Crow for their new generation, and I think they succeeded. And so anyway, they make the deal, things happen, we have bad guys fighting good guys, and although tragic anti-heroes, Danny Huston comes into play as kind of like this rich socialite who has kind of a backlog storyline that I'm very curious about with Shelly and her parents, if you will. There was some loose threads there that we didn't, that I'm sure we'll talk in our review with Anthony now, that didn't all the way complete out, but I think is deeper into the Crow mythos that I would love for them to, if we get a Crow 2, go back to, because that didn't finalize out. And then it leads into the conclusion, but I don't want to spoil from there because I want y'all to go on this ride. I want to kick it back over to Anthony, and I want to bring him up now. That's kind of the base of the story. Again, anti-hero, love and loss, people that will do anything for it. They come back, they fight against the bad guys. And do they win out at the end? Does somebody come back? I'm sure we can figure it out. This is Hollywood endings, but again, a lot of people just have as we started off earlier, have like this whole thing about Brandon Lee. Again, great film, but that's that film. This is this film. It's a reimagination. The things you love about The Crow and James O'Barr, if you're a fan of the material, are imbued in the DNA of this film, and I think they handled that. So that's what I have to say there. Anthony, to bring you in with The Crow in this film, what were your vibes leading into this? Were you a fan of the original Brandon Lee, the others, and now we have this new reiteration?
Well,
or not reiteration, reimagining.
I understand. I'll start by saying that how you introduce this, I am 100% behind. Just wait till you see it. The original is always going to be out there. At that same time, I'm one of those with certain films, not this one, but they remade Sam Peckinpah's The Getaway in the early 90s, and I was like, what? How dare you? And you know what? It's an okay movie, but if I want to watch The Getaway, I'll watch Peckinpah's. I really, 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 really like the original. It's like you said, it's not, 2001: A Space Odyssey, but it has a cult following, and kind of a cool cult following because I like goths. And I think it's visually stunning, the original, Alex Proyas, 1994. And I think I'll jump in real quick with Brandon Lee versus Skarsgård, who both work. I think they both work perfectly in different ways. Brandon Lee, while he was the first Crow and he was excellent at it, the first Eric Draven, and excellent at it, he was son of Bruce Lee, for those 3 or 4 people who don't know. He was a martial artist. So his moves were more graceful, his, more acrobatic when he did things, jumping on and off tables, dodging bullets, this and that. So it's a very different Eric Draven. And very quickly, because you asked this as well. No, in order, the sequels get progressively awful. Just boom, 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 boom. The second one is I almost walked out of the theater. It's one of the few times I really thought of leaving. And then the other two, I think, are just horrific. And if they're worse than that, that tells you everything. But yeah. So Lee was a very different Draven, Eric Draven. Skarsgård, I'll admit at first, after he died and came back the first try, if you will, I kind of wasn't feeling it because he's all, I need a gun. And I'm like, wait, no, this isn't how it's supposed to go. You're just like an everyman out there fumbling around trying to find the bad guys. But then when has to make the deal, that's no spoiler, and come back, of course, once you make the deal, you have to goth up. You got to get the black and the leather jacket. And
the way they portrayed that was so good. I liked how they put that element into it. It made more sense.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. The reason the jacket was there, why he chose that one. Yeah, that was all great. And then once he came back as the final incarnation, I thought he was fabulous. I like him as an actor. I think he's very intense. I'd like to see him do play a father of five in a warm-hearted family drama to see his range, but I think he does have range. That whole family has range.
Agreed.
But he's very good at intensity, even more than his brother, I think. Alexander. Sorry, ladies. I think Alexander's the favorite of the two. But I think he's more intense than his brother, and that's what works here. And you already spoke on this. The best thing the director and screenwriters did is not to just, in the first 10 minutes, we see a few kisses and then they die.
Yes.
We see them before they know one another, and we follow. And so I've heard complaints that, man, that goes on too long. No, it doesn't. It's only about 25 minutes of the movie. But the progression of meeting in the rehabilitation facility, clicking because of their broken lives and broken souls, basically.
Yeah.
And just finding an instant connection in the soul and then building it in the heart. And then, it's I wrote this in my review. Their intensity is I didn't say this, but it's palpable. I mean, you can feel falling in love and lust, the sexual, the heartfelt, all of it. And it just works so well. And I will say, if the second half of the movie had been that strong, this would be my preferred Crow version. I really think the first half of this movie is so strong. I loved what they did with that. And it wasn't coy. It wasn't, I love you too. It was from a deep place of two broken people fixing each other, finding a connection, and seeing light in the dark lives that they have that led them to where they are.
Completely
agree. I just think that was excellent. I really love that.
Completely agree. Yeah, that was my problem with the original Crow. Why OG Crow? This to me is comparative. When after I saw this, I was like, I kind of like this more than 94 Crow. In that, which is crazy to say, and I know that's wild to say a lot, and I'm pretty sure I lost some followers. Whatever, hater, you're gonna hate. But just because, as a fan of the material, this to me is closer to the material in a way. The 94 Crow, Brandon Lee, visually is the comic character. Brandon Lee looks like the comic, but this storyline wise, it's more goth, and it's more emo and more goth than that one is, I believe, too.
It is. And that one, and I agree with you. And the 94 version is considered one of the great goth films.
Yeah.
This
is more emo and more goth. I will stand on pulpit in that this is more goth and more emo.
Preach on. So, look, I'm Gen X, and the 94 version Alex Proyas. He's a fine filmmaker. That is the goth movie for Generation X. And it kind of is, because there wasn't a lot of good ones. But this one is, like you said, this is for the emos and the goths of whatever this Generation 9000 now. But yeah, no, I mean, I can't say enough great about the first half of this movie.
Yes, that's what pulled me in. Like, we see that little bit of him as a youth. How does he get a little scar and other things? You know, there's little nuggets. Like, I gotta watch it again, that they peppered out that, you know, as viewers pays off when it gives it replay value. Sure. Oh, that makes sense here, makes sense there. And then again, that love story, more love story than we got from the original Crow, that just makes you feel, and you know, these characters and understand them. And then when the things kick off, and then the fight scenes, again, shout out to Adam Horton, who his team, amazing. I think you said in your review as well, there's a scene, there's a couple scenes, there's the car chase, but there's a finale scene where we're fighting in the soap opera set to the music. Anthony, I wish you were there with me. I'm like, Anthony, these cuts, how they're going in between some of the operatic stuff and the fight work was art. I'm sorry.
Because it was kind of a goth opera.
Yes.
About souls coming back from the dead. And there's one point where he is, spoiler alert, he kills people there, where he's just slaughtering some bad guys out there, and there's blood everywhere. This earns its R rating in fun ways. And they cut to the stage play. There's two people. I think there's a woman on Earth, and then the guy from hell is singing to her. That's what I got out of it. I don't know opera. But they cut to an extreme close-up of a bunch of the people on stage playing the demons, and they're crawling at the screen, right? And then they cut to him, and he slices some more, and they cut back, and they're even closer. And the music, oh my God, it's an amazing sequence. It really is.
Yeah, and then the way they fought, you know, and like you're saying, you had a little bit of a problem with Skarsgård at the beginning and Guns. I don't remember that too much. Again, I saw it like about a month ago. But then when he does actually have the powers and everything, he's not really an offensive fighter, because he's just broken. But he's seeking the revenge, but he has a point of interest. He wants the main guy that set this whole thing on thing.
And I'm glad you said that. He's not there to, all right, these are bad guys, I'm killing them all. He's like, oh, these guys. And you can see it on his face sometimes when they're plowing bullets into him. He's like, now I got to get rid of these guys. I'm trying to get over there, guys. I want that down there. Yeah. I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, he's a defensive guy. He's not about trying to get, you know, everyone else. So it just plays into that tragic hero, you know, and just well done. And again, FKA twigs Shelly, I think, brought some sexiness. I'm not too familiar with her music. I know she's popular and now this and fashion wise, but a great new star. I thought both of them, just their chemistry, like you said, just so fantastic.
I can't say what I thought her name was because we can't curse on this show. But
I'm assuming it's formally known as Twigs. Like, that's not even really.
That's what it's. I looked it up. That's what it's supposed to be.
Oh, really? Oh, I got it.
I pronounced it. My wife says that's not it. I mean, look at the letters. That's how I pronounced it. And she's like, my wife's like, no, that's not what it means. I'm like, that's what it says.
So what do you think of Danny Huston? Because we're running short on time.
Yeah. Danny Huston, one of my favorite character actors from one of the great acting families. He could talk, he could just speak, and I just keep speaking. He has that way of talking, you know, like his father. He was great because he brought something to an absolutely nothing role. We've seen this role 1,000 times in 80s bad guys, 90s bad guys, the rich, well-to-do who has a sinister secret, and I was kind of who cares on how he was crafted, but Huston made it fun for me.
Oh yeah. But I'd like to know more, because there's some backlog to that. Because
I mean,
that's what there's
what he was.
Yeah.
But I would have, like you said, I would have liked a little more explanation there.
Yeah.
Like, why'd you do that?
Exactly. So it's again, we've said it's not a pop, it's not a Shakespeare, it's not a Space Odyssey, but it has its merits. And I went into it with low to no expectations and was very pleasantly surprised on how well I enjoyed it. And it was on par to me, and at least how I feel, to the original Crow with what I know of the Crow.
I think so too. And very quickly, I wanted to hit the architecture. What makes the first film so memorable is just that almost Tim Burton-esque look to it. And this one didn't have that as far as the architecture. They filmed it in Prague, but they didn't really use. There's a lot of stuff to use in Prague, man, that can up your goth credit. And they didn't really use that, but the cinematography, with the rain and the darkness and kind of Eric Draven moving and eventually learning to use the darkness. I thought it looked beautiful. Goth beautiful.
Yes.
Goth beautiful. Yeah, it's fantastic. I mean, there are moments, it's not perfect. It has a lot of flaws. There are plot threads that kind of dangle. Again, her mother, Shelly's mother, FKA twigs.
Yeah. They started a little bit, but then they went away from it.
Yeah, why that? Why? I won't spoil it. But I was still interested through the whole thing. Again, the first half, the action's great. That car is just the guy keeps saying, "Get in the back," and he's trying to make his way back to her. Fantastic, that sequence. Yeah. And the opera house. And it has a beautiful ending.
Yeah.
Beautiful ending. And a more harrowing death scene for the two of them than in the original Crow. It's brutal how they're killed in this one.
I have thoughts where it could go from here if they were to continue this on. You know,
I hope
only the box office will know if the haters don't win out and people actually go see this film, which I hope they do, because it's a good film.
Yeah, I
think they could go some other places with it.
I went pre-opening night because they didn't screen it for critics. We're not all, privileged like some. And there were two other people in the theater with me and my wife, and oh boy, that's not a good sign. But Thursday before you go back to school, who knows?
Did she enjoy it as a non-critic?
She liked it a lot, yes. And
awesome.
She loves the original, and she liked this a lot. She probably, I think she's on the same page as us. It has some plot threads that she's like, why didn't they explain that? But she had a great time. Like, we looked at each other during the opera sequence more than once. We're like, what?
Yes. Yeah.
Fantastic. No, it's a very good film. It's not perfect. And like you said, the original Crow is out there, but give this one a chance. It's very well done, pretty well written, and well acted by just about everybody. I give it a very positive, a surprisingly positive review, because I was what we talked about in the beginning. I sat down, I'm like, all right, here we go, try. And it was exceeded expectations by far.
Same. I completely agree. And I have my thoughts as a screen filmmaker, as you are as well, a screenwriter, what they could do. So let's make this a win, y'all. Don't listen to the haters. Again, that should never form your opinion. You should always make it on your own, even with us. Don't listen. You can listen to us. You cannot listen to us. It won't bother to us. But
I would say, but listen to us. No, but yes, please. I hope this finds an audience.
Yes.
I hope it does, because I would like to see another one.
Yes,
and I would like people to say, "Hey, you know what? It's not bad."
I really hope, if anything, even if it doesn't hit the mark in theaters, but I'm hoping, because I want a sequel, that I believe it will eventually find its audience and become a cult classic.
Yeah, I think
it's on par with the OG one in a lot of ways.
I think it's pretty close. Yeah. I really do. It's like a duplex. It's the same building, but one's a little different than the other, but they're both pretty cool.
I completely agree.
Reference, but you know what I mean.
Anthony,
that's ridiculous.
It is always a pleasure to chat with you. And you know, we always don't even have the same opinions, but it's great that we share that on this one. And because it's even cool when we don't, because then it becomes a more interesting conversation. But this one, we have a shared opinion, and you're awesome. How can my people follow you and support you? Definitely go check out Anthony's full review, his written review on this film, on the movie review. But throw out the handles so everybody can check you out.
Yeah. And first of all, it's my pleasure. TheMovieReview.com, that's where The Crow is right now. Instagram at The Movie Review, ScreenComment.com, and on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, Anthony Screen C1.
There you go.
Yeah, and there I am.
All right, y'all. I'll have Anthony's links in the description below. Please go shoot him a follow, say hello, send him all our love. That is my man. Anthony, go ahead, man. One more thing?
Go see The Crow. That's my last thought. Please support this film.
I completely agree, y'all. Go see The Crow in theaters now. After you're done checking that out, check out my interview with Adam Horton, the stunt coordinator who did a phenomenal job. And if you look at his list of credits, that man is amazing. He's a real life superhero. Shout out to him, and well as check out the interviews with FKA Twigs and Bill Skarsgård, our Crow, and Shelly, and our AKA our Eric Draven, and hopefully more content. I'm putting in that work, y'all. Always a pleasure, Anthony. I'm Kuya P. This is Nerds Rule the World. Go see The Crow.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy Kuya P. Nerds Rule the World just got out of his press screening, special press screening, just for your boy, of The Crow, coming very soon, y'all. Initial thoughts as I do coming out the joint. There's been a lot of hate online about this project. Rest in peace to Brandon Lee. We'll never forget that OG Crow. But if you are a true fan of The Crow, I mean true fan, if you love the comics, you love the concept, and you love that OG film, I think you'll like The New Crow. I really enjoyed it. That's my thoughts coming out of it. There was a lot of hate online. I came in with low to no expectations, even though I'm a fan of that OG Crow, and I'm a fan of the comic book. The base story of just being broken people in love, and then what you do for love, they captured that in this New Crow. I'm gonna have a full review of this joint along with some other special things on The Crow very soon, but check it out. I really enjoyed it. Stay tuned, y'all. Your boy KP, Nerds Rule the World.
Revenge is easy. You just have to breathe. Are you ready?
Yeah.
The Crow, rated R.